Hello, I'm Neely Jones, your host of Focus on Suppliers. No matter what your category, when you look toward the future, technology plays a vital role. This week, we speak with our friends at NPD Group and Samsung about key categories driving growth in consumer electronics. Plus, Campbell's Soup CEO stops by with an invaluable lesson on the importance of developing a personal mission statement. And Star Jones explains the role of diversity in the C-suite and the positive effects it can have. I'm Neely Jones. Focus on Suppliers starts now.
Focus on Suppliers is presented by 8th & Walton, the premier destination for supplier development, and sponsored in part by Dun & Bradstreet, Saatchi and Saatchi X, Case-Stack, Excel Displays and Packaging, and other outstanding companies.
Your millennial fun fact is that 85% of millennials actually consider their parent to be their best friend. This means they're going to their parents, or an older generation, to ask questions about big purchases. When we think about televisions and we think about consumer electronics, they're going to their parents and asking questions on what they should buy and why technology and how technology is changing. When we think about watching TV and screen time, we know millennials are only spending about 43% of their time actually watching a television screen. The rest is divided between their mobile device, whether that's a tablet or their handheld cell phone, or they're spending it on their computer screen. Boomers, comparatively, were at 71%. So as we think about these generations colliding and talking about technology and changing, it's absolutely critical in store. We're connecting with them and giving them the information they need to make that decision. How are you bringing ratings and reviews to life inside the store to really drive that purchase and connect with your shoppers? We'll see you next week for the next Millennial Minute.
Joining us now, an old friend, Lela Davidson from Acumen Brands. Thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for having me, Neely.
Always nice to talk with you. And I think to open up this discussion, I'd like to hit on e-commerce and what you guys have learned, because you've learned a lot in a short amount of time.
We have. E-commerce is really, it's an interesting place to be. We started our company as a pure play e-commerce company. So several different niches, diversified into different products, different audiences. And of course, as we all know, we really found success with Country Outfitter. And that's just been this amazing journey that started in e-commerce and now has blossomed into this whole ecosystem built around this audience.
And you were saying you really need to be prepared to play in this, and you need to be prepared to deal with real-time analytics if you're going to do it.
Oh yeah, that's a big topic right now. We have been obsessed because of our founders and just our base in the company with real-time analytics for a very long time. Others are catching up now, and the thing about the analytics is it can become a distraction. You've got to be laser focused on which KPIs are really important in driving your business forward, because we can measure everything now, and we can measure it at the moment in time. We can make a decision, and you got to be really discerning on which things you're looking at and which decisions you're making.
Because you were saying there used to be this lackadaisical, I'll look at it once a month. That's not going to fly anymore.
Yeah, you can't do that. And really large corporate structures, I think that's something that people struggle with in those organizations where things tend to move a little bit slower. And so, they may be putting together smaller teams to attack e-commerce.
One of the things I love about you is you've worked really hard to see this success, but you share that information with people. You guys can really help suppliers. Talk to me about what you can do for them.
Well, the interesting thing, starting in e-commerce, we had this great success in social. We were one of the first players on Facebook and accumulated this massive audience there. That fueled our e-commerce growth, and then we had this big audience, and we didn't want to market to them all the time just because of the nature of our product. We wanted to be able to speak to them more often than their purchase cycle would dictate. So that's why we started building around the company, and one of the areas that we built around e-commerce was the area that I run, which is media. And so we kind of flipped the media model backwards. Usually you start with your concept and your editorial and you find your audience. Well, we had our audience, and all we had to do is give them what they wanted. So for the past 2 years, we've been creating editorial for this Heartland Millennial audience. And it's been great. First Nashville came, and we were able to, you know, we've been on the red carpet together at the CMAs. We've been able to really serve Nashville as a wonderful country music entertainment, but also lifestyle media. And now that we've built around all these other verticals, food, beauty, now we're able to help CPG brands to reach this Heartland millennial audience that is interested in the fastest growing musical genre country. So it all kind of works together, and it's all built from that e-commerce space.
And you can really help them with everything from branding to just reaching people they normally wouldn't.
Yeah, we really know this audience, and so that's where we feel like we are of value both to Nashville, to our suppliers on the e-commerce side, and then to non-suppliers that are just looking to reach this audience. We've been talking to them for so long. We've been obsessed with those real-time analytics for so long, and we've built these rich consumer profiles. So a hot topic, I guess, in e-commerce these days is predictive analytics and contextual shopping and things like that. And the better that you know this audience and segments and targets within the audience, the better you can serve them what they want when they want it.
And get real engagement. Lela, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You can see all episodes and extended interviews at Vimeo.
Today we have April Seggebruch with us from Movista. Welcome, April.
Thank you, Andy. It's nice to be here.
Now, Movista, I normally have Stan here, but it's such a joy to finally meet the other half of the company. Now, you've been with Movista for how long?
For 6 years, from the beginning.
And you've seen, obviously, a lot of changes. What have been some of the most dramatic changes you've seen?
I think one of the most significant changes we've seen since when we started Movista is the hardware options that our customers have access to.
Okay, and explain that.
Well, when we first started Movista, we created a software that leveraged kiosk, 4-foot tall, 80-pound touchscreen kiosks that the users had to physically go to leverage the platform.
And so what's changed to now?
Today, there's tens of thousands of those kiosks across the country today where you can access the platform on any smart device, including a phone or a tablet.
Interesting. Now, you came from the supplier community, and you've been with Movista for 6 years. There's not a lot of women in tech. How did you kind of make that transition? Tell us about that.
Well, a little bit out of necessity from a standpoint of, as you mentioned, Stan. Stan was really the driving force on the business side. And my role became taking the pains that our customers were trying to solve and creating a product that addressed those pains. And helping our customers be successful with the product we created.
And are more women coming into the tech field?
Yeah, and actually, Indeed, they are, and it's an exciting change. It's one that's gained a lot of support and a lot of momentum over the last couple of years.
Great. So why are women so underrepresented?
Well, Indeed, joining the boys is scary, but it shouldn't be. Technology roles are very similar to those of accounting and analytics or sales. When you focus on solving the problem, delivering a solution that creates a win-win scenario for you and your customers, you're doing a successful job.
And women bring a different and unique perspective.
They definitely do. They're definitely able to focus on delivering that solution to the problem in front of them.
Yeah. So Movista, you guys solve problems for people.
That's what we like to do. We like to create scenarios where our customers win and we win with them.
Great. Well, April, thank you so much for coming in today. We'll be right back.
Joining us now, we have two special guests, and Mike, I'll get to you momentarily, but
Great.
Andrew, we're going to particularly start with you, Andrew Horning, who is here from NPD. Can you give us an overview of your company for folks at home who just aren't familiar with you?
Sure. So it really boils down to getting the right products to the right places and to the right people. And to do that, we collect information from retailer partners and from consumers. We take that information and then provide analytical services and help clients make the best business decision.
Which brings you to Mike Kadish, who is here from Samsung. You guys have worked together before.
No, we haven't.
This is not your first time meeting.
No.
How beneficial has that been for you?
Extremely beneficial. The TV market is a really complex market, and it helps to understand what's happening in the industry and how we need to adjust to take advantage of it.
Speaking of, I have to ask you about some of the trends you're seeing. Of course,
Yeah.
I love electronics. I'm sure things are changing.
Yeah, definitely. The biggest trends we're seeing, first of all, prices are falling. And as prices fall, consumers are actually buying larger screen TVs. So the screen sizes are getting bigger. In fact, Walmart, to give you an example, last Black Friday, they had a 50-inch flat screen TV for $269.
How did I miss that?
I don't know, you must have been eating your turkey still.
I mean, I am a big turkey, so it would make sense. But when we talk about those things and we see this category evolving, how does that then affect what you're able to bring to your clients?
Well, if we look at different things that we can provide to clients, one of them is looking at the online business and the percentage of sales that are being done online. And technology is an interesting business because 27% of the business is being done online, which is higher than any other business that NPD tracks. Conversely, on the same side is that there's a significant portion of the business that's also and still being done offline. So suppliers always need to be aware of that balance between online and offline.
You still need to be prepared to do business in the brick and mortar, but
Absolutely.
also, and you can assist with that.
Absolutely.
What are some of the trends that you've seen in this category?
In the TV category? Yeah, so it's definitely one that Mike mentioned in terms of a shift to higher resolution and larger screen sizes due to price. The flip side of that is that as smaller screens decline and lower resolutions decline, they're kind of offsetting. So the business is relatively flat as people have shifted from one to the other.
Well, speaking of flat, I mean tablets. Has there been a decline overall? Is that?
Absolutely. That's been the biggest declining category that we track. It's been down over $2 billion. There's been people who have bought tablets before don't necessarily see a compelling reason to upgrade to the latest model.
But then perhaps the opposite when we talk about wearable electronics?
Yes, absolutely. The fastest growing category or the largest growing category has been the digital fitness trackers, wearables that track your steps and your heart rate. It's an interesting category because both units are increasing and the price of the product is increasing at the same time. So typically in electronics you see the amount of units going up as the ASP or the average selling price goes down. So in the case of that category, we actually see both at the same time, and it's really driving a lot of growth.
We've only got about 30 seconds. Any piece of advice you would give to suppliers about how you can help them?
Certainly. So if we think about going back to the online example is understanding where that point is for your category, what percent is done online and offline, and understanding the shopping behaviors within each of those in terms of how people are shopping brick and mortar and online and how those interact. It's certainly important for all suppliers, regardless of category.
Just to help them reach their demographic, if nothing
Absolutely.
else. Thank you both so much for being here today, making the time.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
We'll be right back. So we asked Mike Kadish to stick around a little bit and elaborate on what we just visited. So a little bit more, and we can revisit it to get us started, the trends you're seeing in electronics and televisions in particular.
Yeah, sure. So one of the biggest hot topics we're seeing now is all around 4K and ultra-high definition content. And essentially it means there are a whole lot more pixels on your TV screen, which give you a crisper, clearer, and more colorful image. Content providers like Amazon and Netflix are also building their libraries of ultra-high definition content. So that's one of the key trends we're seeing. Another trend we're seeing is around curved TVs. I don't know if you've been in a Walmart and seen how slick the curved TV looks. First of all, it looks great, but it also offers a more immersive and depth viewing
Perception.
Yeah.
I like it because anywhere you are in the room, you're still kind of getting that view. It's almost like an in-the-round movie theater, if you will. Is that a good way to put it?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so as we see some of these trends changing, how do you deal with then challenges?
Yeah. So one of the biggest challenges we have as an electronics provider is when the new technology comes in, we need to make sure that we're not stuck with a whole lot of old technology in our retail partners. So we need to plan and forecast accurately around the end of life of certain products and the launch of new products to make sure that our partners aren't stuck with too much inventory.
Because you don't want to be a bad partner.
Exactly.
Exactly. What is some advice you might give to another supplier watching, perhaps not even in the same category, who deals with a lot of new things coming out in addition to what you just mentioned? I mean, how would you kind of elaborate on preparing for that forecasting, preparing to take those next steps?
Yeah, look at historical data to get an understanding of how prices need to change at the end of life of certain products, and then look at demand for new products to get a better understanding of how much product you should ship in.
Now, I have to ask you, just from the consumer standpoint and just merely out of curiosity for me, as we watch the 4K, I know a lot of people, they're kind of out there going, should I buy this yet? It's kind of pricey. So how does that affect you when it comes to marketing and placement and making sure you're getting the consumer's attention and trying to express to them that this is something they may want to do?
Yeah, sure. Well, so we try to provide a lot of demo content in stores to show consumers how much better the picture quality is on these UHD products. If you go into a store and you see a UHD content up against the full HD content, you'll really see the differences and it'll really pop. And it hopefully will convince consumers to buy up to that better product.
So it's all about a good demo. Thank you so much for sticking around. Great to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll be right back. Follow us on Instagram at 8th and Walton.
Bentonville Plaza, across the street from the Walmart home office. The best office location offers proximity and services like no other business complex in the area. Call 479-200-1112 today. K-Stack, the leader in collaborative retail consolidation programs. We offer the supply chain expertise needed to navigate the challenges of selling products with the world's largest retailers. And we provide customers with a customizable, scalable, environmentally sustainable supply chain with the same advanced technology typically used by larger rivals. By leveling the playing field, K-Stack lowers distribution costs and increases overall margins. K-Stack, retail logistics is what we do.
Beauterre Office Park is conveniently located off I-49 and near Walmart's facilities. Our beautiful campus is Northwest Arkansas's largest office park. Let us build to suit your needs. Rates start at $14.50 per square foot. Visit Beauterre.com today.
You just had your buyer meeting. Now there's follow-up to do. Maybe your buyer wants more on seasonal sales, or invited you to prepare a joint business plan or set up a date for your line review. 8th and Walton can help. Our experts work with you one-on-one in a confidential setting to prepare for your next buyer meeting. The classes we offer help you too. Retail Link, Supply Chain Management, Inventory Management, taught in cities across the country, in Canada, and in Latin America. So before your next buyer meeting, contact 8th and Walton. Then relax, knowing that you will be ready.
Joining us now is Star Jones. Thank you for taking some time to speak with us today.
Oh, absolutely. This is the most important issue in America, in my opinion, is keeping Americans healthy. Heart disease is the #1 killer of all Americans. It is the leading cause of death for African Americans, and it is one of the highest causes of death for all women. So, as I like to say, I do like to check the boxes, but not like that.
Well, exactly. You have a personal experience.
100%. In 2010, I was experiencing some really weird symptoms. Anybody who has followed my career know that I really did myself justice and got my weight under control. I used to weigh 300 pounds, and I had lost the weight, and so I was playing tennis, and I was active and eating correctly, and all of a sudden I started to experience intense heart palpitations, tremendous fatigue, lightheadedness, shortness of breath. And me, I'm supposed to be the smart one. I'm supposed to know what that means. I had no idea. And when I was diagnosed with heart disease and told I was going to end up having to have open heart surgery, I was really floored.
We're so happy to have you here, and that is why you're in Northwest Arkansas. But that brings me to my next question, because I read that you said you didn't think that was something that could happen to you. You thought that was something that just happened mostly to Caucasian people, which brings me to a diversity question. You want to raise awareness, of course, for everyone. But what about diversity in the workplace? And what about diversity in film and entertainment? What do you see as something that needs to happen to make a difference?
Well, you know, as the president of the Professional Diversity Network, I interact with CEOs across all platforms every single day. And I talk to them about diversity and inclusion as a business imperative. You know, we've discussed D&I over the years as making it something that makes you feel good. Mm-hmm. You know that having a variety of people around the table is a good thing. It looks good. Well, I'm talking about from a business perspective, and what I can say for certain that every study that I have read in the last dozen years says that diversity and inclusion brings innovation, creativity, more collaboration. And then when you add women into the mix, which is the largest diverse category, women, when you add them to the C-suite or to the board of directors, directly affect the bottom line. So when I'm looking across from a CEO, I'm saying you need D&I because it will make you money. And my daddy says if it don't make money, it don't make sense. This makes sense and makes money.
Amazing to meet you in person. Thank you for being here to support the Northwest Arkansas chapter of the American Heart Association.
I am pleased and proud to be here. Every platform I have, heart health is what matters.
We'll be right back. Joining us now, Alex Hurd, Senior Director of Health and Wellness for Walmart. First, thank you so much for being here today.
Good morning, Neely.
I know it is early. Last time we spoke, you guys were getting ready for the world's largest health fair. How did it go?
It went awesome. So last October 10th, we performed 300,000 screenings, 52,000 immunizations, and distributed 2 million healthy product samples just under 4 hours.
You actually were able to save a few lives.
That's exactly right. So we've received countless stories from the field of individuals and customers who were really impacted by the event and who really used the event to make a change in their lives. And in some cases, or in one case, we had a customer who had a very high blood pressure reading, and so high that the nurse decided to call the ambulance and get her to the emergency room right away. And so some really, really great and impactful stories that we heard from the field.
Such a successful year. What are the goals for the upcoming health fair?
So this October we're going to do it again, and you know we just want to continue to grow, continue to include more partners. I think what we found is, you know, this is really an opportunity to not just screen individuals, but really the challenge for us and for our partners is how can we work together to actually create solutions that will change people's lives. And you know, it's great to screen folks and to you know, make folks aware of that some of their numbers are off, but that's just a starting point. So how do we use that moment where we're engaging the customers to really then help them connect to resources that will help them live better? And so that's the great challenge. And you know, in a way, it's an opportunity for anyone who's willing to help us reimagine how we deliver preventative care in our country. And so that's really what we're looking to do.
Fantastic. Now, just quickly before we leave, what are some of the things that people can expect at the screening this year?
So we will have nurses in every store. We will be offering free blood pressure and glucose screenings. We'll have free vision screens. We'll have healthy product demonstrations. And just expect, you know, more seamless execution and just a really great event for our customers.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Neely.
Visit us at 8thandwalton.com to learn how you can become a better partner with Walmart.
Bentonville Plaza, across the street from the Walmart home office. The best office location offers proximity and services like no other business complex in the area. Call 479-200-1112 today. K-Stack, the leader in collaborative retail consolidation programs. We offer the supply chain expertise needed to navigate the challenges of selling products with the world's largest retailers. And we provide customers with a customizable, scalable, environmentally sustainable supply chain with the same advanced technology typically used by larger rivals. By leveling the playing field, K-Stack lowers distribution costs and increases overall margins. K-Stack, retail logistics is what we do.
Bentonville Commerce, less than 1 mile from the Walmart home office. You'll love the convenience, amenities, and customized options Bentonville Commerce offers. For more information or a tour, call 479-200-1112 today.
You just had your buyer meeting. Now there's follow-up to do. Maybe your buyer wants more on seasonal sales, or invited you to prepare a joint business plan or set up a date for your line review. 8th & Walton can help. Our experts work with you one-on-one in a confidential setting to prepare for your next buyer meeting. The classes we offer help you too. Retail Link, Supply Chain Management, Inventory Management, taught in cities across the country, in Canada, and in Latin America. So before your next buyer meeting, contact 8th & Walton. Then relax, knowing that you will be ready.
Joining us now, a very special guest, the CEO of Campbell's. Thank you so much, Denise Morrison, for being with us today.
It is so great to be here.
It's nice to have you here and talk with you. One of the things I was able to hear you speak about this morning was defining your personal mission and the importance that plays in someone's future. Can you elaborate on that for us here a bit?
Well, having a personal mission is really a statement of purpose about who you are, what you stand for, how you want to live, and what impact you want to have. And I'm a firm believer that if you have a personal mission, it can be a North Star for you.
And you kind of this morning said that yours falls into 3 boxes, I believe physical, academic, and what was the third?
Well, actually, my personal mission is to serve as a leader, live a balanced life, and apply ethical principles to make a significant difference. And in living a balanced life, it's not about work-life balance, because I really don't believe in that. It's really about 3 circles. It's the balance of academic, physical, and spiritual, and making sure those 3 circles are in balance for a good source of positive self-esteem. And I find when those are in balance, I'm at my best performance.
I was so happy to hear you say today work-life balance isn't something you believe in, because so many people strive for it and it's not necessarily accomplishable.
Right. When you set an expectation of work-life balance, it's a perfect equilibrium that I've never met anyone who's ever achieved it. And I like to think of it more as work-life integration, because then you're looking at your life and you're able to set priorities for those events that are happening in real time. And I just think it sends a message of really bringing your whole self to work and your whole self to life.
Through your work with NEW, the Network of Executive Women,
Yes.
How have you been able to help other young women and even men when it comes to defining their mission?
Right. Well, I'm very passionate about helping the next generation of young women and young men achieve their dreams and their potential. So I have a lot of time for NEW. I think it's a great organization for leadership development and role modeling. And so being able to communicate to the members of NEW the importance of personal mission hopefully will help them establish a statement of purpose for themselves.
Well, and that really translates into being a leader. It has an impact there. Talk to me about how that has worked for you, establishing your personal mission and then rolling that into leadership.
Well, leadership to me is service. I say to serve as a leader, and that's giving back to others. I think there's a lot of power in that giving. And so running your leadership through that lens, I think makes you a better leader, because it's not about you, it's about other people.
And the team as well.
Yes, absolutely.
When we talk about obstacles and things that you've faced in your life as a female executive, up and coming, the glass ceiling, just about anything you can think of, how have you overcome those obstacles and stayed true to your personal mission?
Yeah. Well, the world is changing, and it's also very challenging. But you can look at that 2 ways. You can either lead change or be a victim of change. And I think having a personal mission gives you a real anchor in a sea of change to reflect, go back, and make the right decisions according to what you really stand for and what you value.
So if someone doesn't have a personal mission yet, your advice for creating one?
Yes. I think that people are very strategic about brands and about companies, but for some reason, especially women, are not strategic about themselves. And to take the time out and reflect upon what you stand for and what is important to you is a very big idea. In addition, taking the time out to think about where have you been in your career, where are you now, what do you want to be, and how do you get there, and who can help you, presents a strategy for your career development. And I think that it's worth the time for women to take the time.
Just take a moment and write it down. Denise, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That does it for this week's show, but here are 3 key takeaways for you to jot down. First, remember the importance of technology. It will help you when it comes to workplace efficiencies and product development. Also, number 2, consider developing a personal mission statement. If you have a clear grasp of your goals, it will help you both professionally and personally. And don't underestimate the importance of diversity in the boardroom and the C-suite and all the different talents it can bring. It will also help you relate to consumers. Thanks for joining us.